Hey, this is Gabe. Welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to be making another Bentwood rosewood and maple guitar ring. I'm making this one for my buddy Andre. My brother, he's always been there for me and always helped me out. So anyway, I'm going to be making this one for him. It's going to be sized for him 21.89 millimeters. And I'm going to be using maple and Honduras rosewood, very similar to this one here. So anyway, I've already got some maple on here, and I have it taped on the bottom so that all I have to do is rotate it, and then it'll tighten it up. I think I need to put a little more tape on this side here. I have it taped underneath on the inside and then taped on the outside, you know, taped lengthwise and then taped on the outside. So, and then that is over taped so that when I put CA glue on that, it won't stick to this wood that I'm using as a mandrel. Okay. All right, so now, as you can see how that's taped from on the underside. So now I just want to put some, a few drops of thin CA. Dang it. Okay, I sanded this down off camera and made that nice and round. So now it's starting to take shape. We've got the first part done, which is the maple on the inside. And now we want to do the mahogany, or excuse me, not mahogany. This is rosewood. Rosewood on the outside. So I've got the same thing right here, the rosewood. And you can see how that is laid out here. So I just want to put that on there. It's easier said than done. So I'm going to use some medium, which is like a medium consistency, this Gorilla Super Glue. And I'm going to make sure that that lines up correctly. Get that as square as possible, and I want it to rotate that a little bit. Now I'm going to use my thin before it sticks to my gloves. Now I want to flood the sides. Let that seep through for a minute. Because of that packing tape, that's going to prevent that from gluing and sticking to that. Now if it does, it's no big deal. I can always cut it off and drill it out. can see how that looks. So on to the next step. Okay, so now we got all these lines marked all the way around. You can see what that looks like. And I used my little homemade little thing right here to mark those lines. So now all we're gonna do is just cut these across, and then I will take some aluminum and I'll cut some strips, and then we'll glue those in place. And I'm just gonna use a hacksaw to cut in there to that depth of the veneer, and then we'll come back once we're ready to glue all these in. Okay, now that we have our slots cut, I'm just going to take a little bit of the Gorilla Glue, squeeze it in there like that. Put that in there, and then work my way around, and then we'll come back as soon as we're done. Okay, as you can see, we got those glued in. So now all we have to do is take our cross cutters here, and I'm just going to trim those up. Like that. Work my way all around, and then we'll come right back. Okay, that only took a couple of minutes to trim up. So disc sander, I just want to disc sand those down. Okay, so you can see how good that looks. I sanded this down to 120. That's a good start. So next thing we need to do is I need to mark some diagonals from one point to the next. I'll do that off camera, and then we'll come right back. Okay, as you can see, I have my lines marked like this. I have an X right here. So I'm going to use this real fine little miniature gent saw or back saw, and I want to cut just under the fret here, about a little more than a 1/16 down or so, and to just above that, right around the other side, like about right there. But first I want to cut I don't know if you can see it or not. I want to cut just on the one side of that fret. I want to leave a little bit of wood showing. And I guess that's the, if I had a different vise it might be easier, but this is the vise that I have to work with, my X and Y vise. So, but it still works good for me for a lot of things, so I'm happy with it. So you can see what that looks like now. I'm just going to do the same thing, and I'm going to take a 1/8 inch chisel, and I'm going to chisel that part out. Before I chisel that out, I think I'm going to cut with the saw a couple more cross hatch marks to that point, just so it'd be easier for them to come out. I could probably just, yeah, you can see how that's coming out, so I probably don't even need the chisel.
That looks good.
Okay, so I'm going to be using some of this aqua pearl white for the markers in the fretboard. I bought this specifically for doing this type of a marker in a pen, but this opportunity presented itself for me first. I got a couple of them inlaid first, and you can see what those look like. I actually did 3, so I got the last one here to go. I took a little time cleaning up the bottom, making it flat, because it was kind of difficult to contour these. These I cut some real thin slices, and then that is going to go in there like that. I'm just going to use, again, the Gorilla Glue. That. Let that cure. And then in a couple minutes, I'll just cut that off. And I'll just sand that flush and sand the outside a little bit like I did on all those. Okay, this is starting to take shape, starting to look pretty good. Now back to the lathe and time to put some grooves in so we can put in our guitar strings and then some finish. All right, I have one groove in, and then going to start the other groove. I'm using a file instead of a parting tool like this. It's a little choppy for some reason this time, so this works a lot better, one of these microfiles. With our second groove in place over here, I'm going to start with a larger guitar string like this. I'm going to put a little dab of Gorilla Glue to start. Okay, I just want to build up some layers here using the super glue again. I'm going to do that process probably about 4 or 5 more times. Let it cure on its own with no CA glue, and then we'll come back after that's done. Okay, we're ready to start micro meshing the outside. I got actually 9 layers built up on that, and it looks pretty good. So I'm going to start it off with 800, 1,000, and then work my way through the grits 1,500 to 12,000. Well, that was just from where it was joined, so a little messy right there, but the rest of it looks really good. And we'll see what that looks like. Yeah, that looks pretty nice. I hope you liked it. Well, I hope you liked it as much as I do. I think I'm going to make one for myself. And if you liked it, give us a thumbs up and have a nice day. Hey, this is Gabriel Castro. Thanks for watching my YouTube channel. You can click on the link right here and subscribe. You can watch a video series right here or the latest video right here.